Hey everybody, this is my oral biography report for Church History 202 on David Livingstone. Please bear with me as I read this. David Livingstone was born on 19th of March 1813 in Blantyre, South Lanarkshire. He was second oldest of Neil and Agnes Livingstone's 7 children. He was a very dedicated anti-racist and a Congregationalist pastor. He was also an explorer and a missionary. Livingstone was employed at the age of 10 in a cotton mill. His dad, Neil, was a Sunday school teacher as well as a missionary. He attended Blantyre Village School as a boy, and he started saving money to go to Anderson's University in Glasgow. He finally entered the university in 1836. After this, he applied to join London Missionary Society and was accepted. He attended Charing Cross Hospital Medical School from 1838 to 1840. He studied to become a minister within the Congregational Union, serving under the LMS, and would not have passed the course if it weren't for the director giving him another second chance. In 1840, while continuing his medical studies in London, Livingstone met LMS missionary Robert Moffat. On leave from a missionary outpost in South Africa, Moffat was explaining to Livingstone his expanding missionary work towards north. Livingstone was excited by Moffat's vision of expanding missionary work, and on December 8, 1840, Livingstone set off for his first missionary journey to the African plains. While there, he visited several mission outposts and went on several treks. While on this trip, he met Moffat's daughter, Mary, who was born and raised in Africa. Later, Livingstone's arm would be badly injured in a lion attack. He went for recuperation to Kuruman, where he was tended by Moffat's daughter, Mary. They became engaged and were later married on January 9, 1845. From 1845 to 1847, he left 2 missions due to disagreements and complications. In 1849, he crossed the Kalahari Desert with William Cotton Oswell, who was another English explorer. In August 1851, they reached the Zambezi River, and in 1852, he sent his family to Britain. During this time, he almost died of a fever. He set off down the Zambezi and became the first European to see the Smoke That Thunders waterfall, which he named Victoria Falls after Queen Victoria. Eventually, he mapped most of the course of the Zambezi River. He received credit for opening up Africa and the first European to cross South-Central Africa, even though Portuguese traders had been in the middle of the continent from both sides. Fighting the African slave trade became Livingstone's main goal. He believed that the key to this goal was the navigation of the Zambezi River and to find the source of the Nile, to open up trade to spread Christianity. He returned to Britain in December 1856, and he was recognized by the Royal Geographical Society, and they presented him with a gold medal. He had his missionary travels published in 1857 and was now considered a celebrity. He was elected to the Royal Society and gained public backing for his plans, raised finances as well as money from the government to investigate trade by the Zambezi River. In January 1858, Livingstone agreed to lead a second Zambezi expedition. They left on March 10th and reached the Zambezi on May 14th. After going through 2 steamboats, they survived harsh rapids, a war between slaves fighting slave traders, and a famine caused by the slave war. He eventually brought the ships downriver in 1864 after the government ordered the recall of the expedition. During this time, Mary Livingstone came over to the expedition and died of malaria on April 2nd, 1862. In January of 1866, Livingstone returned to Africa. He headed to Zanzibar, and from there he set out to find the source of the Nile. He and the team of free slaves went along with him, but gradually started abandoning him. They returned to Zanzibar and falsely reported Livingstone's death. He continued to try to find the source of the Nile, but found himself growing more and more ill in the jungle. He ended up being taken by some Arabian slave traders. On July 15, 1871, Livingstone recorded that he witnessed around 400 Africans being massacred by Arab slave traders in a market. This broke Livingstone and prevented him from continuing to find the source of the Nile. Livingstone completely lost contact with the outside world for 6 years and was ill for most of the last 4 years of his life. Henry Morton Stanley, a journalist sent to find him by the New York Herald newspaper in 1869, found Livingstone in the town of Ujiji on November 10, 1871. Livingstone was still determined not to leave Africa until his mission was complete. His illness made him confused and blurred his judgment in the end of his life. He continued to explore while ill for the last 4 years of his life, and on May 1st, 1873, at the age of 60, Livingstone died from malaria and internal bleeding. He died in Chief Chintambo's village in present-day Zambia. Livingstone is known as Africa's greatest missionary, yet he is recorded as having only converted one African. Livingstone made geographical discoveries for European knowledge. He inspired abolitionists of the slave trade, explorers, and missionaries. He opened up Central Africa to missionaries who started the education and healthcare programs for Africans. He was held in high esteem by many African chiefs and local people, and his name started relations between them and the British, which ultimately led to British colonization. David Livingstone's dedication and passion left a huge ripple effect that continues on today. Thank you for listening.